Welcome to this explainer on the 2026 Enterprise AI agent landscape. Look, let's just cut right through the noise, shall we? There is an unbelievable amount of hype right now about AI completely taking over enterprise operations, but we really need to look at what is actually working in production today. So we're going to give you a pragmatic, highly structured breakdown of the real-world capabilities of AI agents. We're going to dive into exactly how they function, the leading platforms you should definitely be considering, and the strict strategies you absolutely need to deploy them safely and effectively in your business. To kick things off, I want to pose a pretty critical question. What actually happens when rule-based automation breaks? I mean, let's be totally honest with ourselves here. We've all felt that absolute dread of a brittle script failing at 2 a.m. just because a vendor changed a single font or maybe shifted a column on an invoice. You see, most enterprises already automated the easy work years ago, right? We deployed bots, we wrote scripts, we built those massive robotic process automation pipelines to handle highly predictable, high-volume tasks. But that leaves us stuck on the hard stuff. What's left on our plates are the exception handling tasks, the complex judgment calls, the messy multi-system workflows, and just mountains of unstructured data. And these are the exact areas where traditional rigid automation just completely falls apart. Here is our quick roadmap for today. We'll cover the automation gap, what exactly AI agents are, the 2026 platform landscape, securing the AI workforce, the build, buy, and ROI debate, and finally, your implementation roadmap. Section 1. The automation gap. All right, to really understand this gap, we first need to understand the fix. So, what is an enterprise AI agent? Basically, it's a system that perceives context, reasons about what to do next, calls tools or APIs, and then actually executes multi-step actions. And often it does this with a human approving key steps along the way. Let's ground this concept in reality using a classic invoice processing example. An AI agent doesn't just blindly follow a script. It actually perceives the data by reading a PDF invoice, it reasons by checking that information against a purchase order in your ERP system, it dynamically flags any weird discrepancies for a human to review, and then it executes the final posting. It requires those three absolutely crucial steps: perceiving, reasoning, and executing. The core difference here really comes down to one word: adaptability. Think of traditional automation like a conveyor belt. It is highly efficient, sure, but completely rigid. If a box comes down the line that's even slightly the wrong shape, the entire belt jams and the whole system breaks down. An AI agent, on the other hand, it operates much more like a highly capable digital temp worker. It looks at that strangely shaped box, reads the shipping label, understands the broader context, and dynamically figures out how to adapt and process it within the guardrails you've set up. It handles input variation through actual reasoning, rather than just throwing an error and failing. Section 2. The 2026 platform landscape. Okay, let's look at the major ecosystem players right now. The secret sauce here is really taking a matchmaking approach, because honestly, there is no single universal best agent out there. If your enterprise is deeply standardized on Microsoft, then Microsoft Copilot Studio is your match, giving you governance tied right into Entra ID and deep Azure integration. Now, if your workflows are heavily CRM native, you're going to want to say hello to Salesforce Agentforce, which runs perfectly within your existing Salesforce roles and permissions. Got data and machine learning intensive work? Google Vertex AI Agent Builder connects beautifully with BigQuery. And if you have cloud-native engineering teams who want pure infrastructure flexibility to use any framework they choose, Amazon Bedrock Agent Core is exactly where you want to be. Now, when we zoom out and look at the specialized powerhouses, some really clear leaders emerge for specific use cases. Notice how ServiceNow AI agents absolutely dominate IT and HR operations. If your world revolves around IT service management or HR ticketing, this is definitely where you look. Then we've got IBM watsonx Orchestrate, which is doing a fantastic job completely locking down regulated industries, think banking, healthcare, government, by offering vital air-gapped and on-premises deployments. And finally, there's UiPath, which perfectly bridges existing RPA, all those rigid conveyor belts you've already invested heavily in, with these new dynamic reasoning capabilities, giving you an incredibly powerful hybrid model. There is a fundamental architectural reality we have to keep in mind here. Whether you're running Microsoft, Salesforce, or IBM, the actual brain operating behind the scenes is usually a base model like Anthropic's Claude or OpenAI's GPT. You are rarely buying an enterprise agent platform just for its proprietary language model. Instead, you're buying the enterprise platform for how securely it wraps around that brain, to protect your data, map to your access controls, and safely connect that reasoning engine to your internal APIs. Section 3. Securing the AI workforce. Here is a super crucial insight. It's your integration architecture, not the AI model itself, that actually determines your success or failure here. Because agents can take autonomous actions across your systems, they introduce severe, tangible risks if you leave them unmanaged. We are talking about data leakage, granting agents way too many permissions across your network, leaving systems wide open to prompt injection attacks, allowing unauthorized actions, hallucinated outputs cascading into downstream data, and operating with weak audit trails. You absolutely must actively manage these risks through highly scoped permissions, restricting exactly what systems and data each individual agent is allowed to touch, and maintaining incredibly strict identity controls. And that brings us to an absolutely non-negotiable rule: mandatory human approval for high-risk actions. We literally cannot stress this enough. Human in-the-loop governance isn't just some nice-to-have feature to check off a list. It is an absolute necessity to prevent automated disasters. Before an agent wires money, before it deletes a user account, before it sends a mass communication out to your top clients, a human must hit approve. No exceptions.
Section 4. Build, Buy, and ROI.
Okay, when we talk about measuring the true return on investment for AI agents, just looking at the initial list price of a platform, that's incredibly deceptive. You really have to consider the total cost of ownership. Because beyond just the platform licensing, you're paying for model API usage, which is often priced per token, plus the initial and ongoing integration development to connect your legacy systems, the back-end infrastructure to run it all, and of course the human oversight time required to review those high-risk actions we just talked about. So to measure true ROI, you've got to weigh the time saved, the error reduction, and the overall throughput against this full, comprehensive list of running costs. And that financial reality leads us right into the classic build versus buy decision. Honestly, this choice almost entirely comes down to your existing tech stack. You should buy an established platform when your core systems already fit it perfectly. If your sales team lives and breathes in Salesforce, buy Agentforce. If your entire enterprise runs on Microsoft 365, buy Copilot Studio is going to give you instant governed integration right out of the box. But you should absolutely build custom when your workflows are highly proprietary, completely unique to your business operations, or intensely performance critical. Section 5, your implementation roadmap. So, here is your 2026 playbook. Step 1, identify and assess. You want to start with a high-friction, well-bounded workflow and double-check that it actually needs reasoning, not just basic rules. Steps 2 and 3, select your platform and build those required integrations to your source data. Step 4 is critical. Add governance. Please do not skip this step. Set up your permissions, your logging, and those approval gates immediately. Step 5, pilot with human oversight, validating every single decision before you scale any autonomy. And finally, Step 6, scale it up and measure your true ROI against a firmly defined baseline. I want to leave you with a final thought to really ponder as we wrap up today. Take a good, hard look at your own operations. Look at the bottlenecks where your human workers are endlessly bridging the gaps between uncommunicative systems. Which of your rigid, frustrating workflows is finally ready for reasoning? Because now that AI agents can handle the complex, context-heavy tasks that those old rule-based bots left behind, the potential for intelligent business transformation is entirely in your hands. Thank you so much for learning with us today.